6. I'm Abigail Blackrick. Today in Manistee at the Little Manistee River weir. I'm speaking with Joe Mikovich, the Fisheries Technician Supervisor. Joe, tell me about the Little Manistee River weir. What is it?
Well, the river weir is, for Little Manistee, is a weir that we take eggs from steelhead in the spring and Chinook salmon in the fall. And right now we're in our first day of egg take for steelhead.
It's exciting. How's the intake going this year?
Well, it's got off to a slow start, really. Usually we're done with this by this time. It usually goes the first week or two of April. And it was looking like that was going to be the case this year because we had a nice warm up in early March, and then things kind of turned back to winter for a few weeks there. And so now we're just getting to our first part of the egg take. So it's off to a slow start, but hopefully things will go good from here.
From what you've seen today, how does it look like it's going?
Not too bad. We've actually got about 70% ripe on our females, which is what we typically like to see. We want to get them about that ripe, so we're not handling them too early, and we don't want to wait too late because then they'll be overripe. So we're in there about the right timing, I think, and we're going to get a day of it in today. We should have enough fish to also run another day tomorrow. About 1 million eggs each day, so we'll be about 1 million eggs today. That'll go to Wolf Lake Hatchery down by Kalamazoo, and then tomorrow we'll be in here doing the same thing, and those eggs will go to Thompson Hatchery up by Manistee.
Great. And so with this, what's kind of the process? Can you run me through that?
Well, the process is, it starts first earlier in the spring. We put the weir grates down in the river. And those are just our structure across the river, of the Little Manistee River, that blocks the fish so they can't come up any further than that. And as we start getting those backed up there behind the weir for a while, we get to a point where we'll just turn on the pumps. And basically we're pumping water from upriver of that down below the river. And at that point, those fish will come up through a ladder system and they'll get into our maturation ponds where the fish will mature. It usually takes about a week or so for them in those maturation ponds, all depending on how the weather does this week. This year it took a few weeks because the weather slowed down on us. But once we get them up that far, we can kind of just keep a monitor on how ripe things are getting and when they're ready to go. And we'll eventually get to the day like today where we're actually bringing them into the building and taking eggs from them and taking melt from the males and fertilizing those eggs. Eggs will go back to the hatcheries, and that's the process.
Why is this process important? Why do you guys do what you do?
Well, actually, we're trying to help out the steelhead with their reproduction. In nature, they do a fairly good job of trying to do this themselves, but they're limited in the spawning substrate that they have in the river system. So they can reproduce, and they do, and this is actually a natural reproduction river. We don't stock fish in here, well, we do for salmon, but no steelhead. It's a natural run here. But they just, usually in typical rivers, there's not enough of that spawning substrate for them to keep up with the fishing pressures. So by us collecting those eggs and taking them back to the hatchery, raising them up, and then in the spring putting them back in the river systems, we're actually kind of helping them along with that process, and we can get a lot better success rate on those eggs.
That's great. And are there many weirs like this one in the state of Michigan?
There are several weirs in the state of Michigan. Basically, this is the only one for steelhead egg take, but we also do Chinook salmon here in the fall. We have Platte River Weir, which is just north of here up by Traverse City, Honor, actually, and they do the coho egg take there. We've got a couple other weir structures, one on Boardman River in Traverse City, Medusa Creek up by Charlevoix, and then over by Alpena, Rogers City, Alpena area. Actually, it's Rogers City. There's Swan River weir over there. And those are basically just collection weirs. We also have taken eggs at those weirs in the past, but as of right now, all the egg takes are here at this weir, other than the coho. Those are at Platte River. But the other ones, we actually, for the salmon, we collect those salmon back up in the fall. The salmon are one-time spawners, and they die after they're done spawning. So when you have massive amounts of salmon planted in one area to return, you'll get a big mess in the river. So we'll actually collect those salmon up. We contract that flesh out. Same thing with the salmon flesh here. And somebody will use those for cat food or pet food factories. Is what they've been doing for the last few years.
And I know you said that the weir is available to the public. Anyone can come here and visit and see what's going on here. As long as the gates are open, they can come right in. And if the gates aren't open, there's some viewing areas down there. So what's a website people can visit if they'd like more information to come visit?
Yeah, well, the DNR website, it's michigan.gov/DNR. And then once you're into that DNR page, Fisheries has their own link in there. And once you get into the Fisheries link, there's different sections in there. One will be for the Little Manistee Weir, and you can get information about, they update that with our reports as we're kind of going through the season. So you can get some of the latest information from there. Also, they have fish stocking information. I think it goes back into the 60s. So any body of water that you may live near or have interest in, and you want to know what's stocked in that area or what maybe had been stocked in the past, you should be able to get that information off from there.
That's great. Thank you so much, Joe, for joining me today and giving us this great information.
Yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure.
In Manistee, I'm Abigail Blackrick with My News 26.